top, right? They've had a quiet year in 2022 for the most part. Black Sea, not the greatest history with Team Queso, and as you said as well, on the side of Sky and Jedden, it was a very quiet year, but they've been looking better than ever now, and I'm kind of hoping that this is their breakthrough for 2023 and that it happens this early into the year. But it's not quite certain just yet, and I think that's why most of you guys, and as well as us on the casting desk, went for ANR. They've just been a little bit more solid so far in the early parts of the year, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw BHS cause an upset.
Well, Banzaren, Eve, 8-Bit, and Bonnie on the side of ANR, and Penny, Grom, and Lola on the right side for BHS. I do feel like the vote in the poll over at event.brawlstars.com might not reflect necessarily what we're going to see go down here, just based on what I saw the other day from BHS, but going in with the very early draft there of the Nanny, and it's obviously a very versatile one on such a long-ranged map, so I don't mind it. Nonetheless, coming in now, ANR, I've got the chance to maybe draft here at B. I think that's a pretty solid shout, just in the eventuality of having some more versatility. We've seen Colt coming through as well in Bridge Too Far. I don't want to mention it too early on, but it's more of a later draft. I'm not a fan of it, I'll be honest. We do see it here. Whoever's playing has got to land those shots. Max, I feel, is a much, much safer idea, and that's the way to start things off for ANR. Chance to follow things up shortly as well, and I've got to be feeling Colette here would be a solid shout for them to try to secure maybe something of a Brock to be able to break through the mid. It's going to be Brock as well, quite like that from ANR, and now BHS have a chance to respond.
I like the Brock as well. Despite not being able to fully open the mid with the unbreakable walls now, you can still open about half of it, and that can be more than enough. Plus, Brock in general as a sharpshooter, he's going to be your highest damage dealer on the safe. If you manage to win your lane, it's massive amounts of damage with the fire that just sticks onto it. You can really capitalize very nicely. So I like that approach quite a bit, especially matched up with that max on their side of things, as it will just ensure that there's no max speed, which can be really annoying when you try to hit someone as a Brock. We'll see Bell and Otis to complete the comp here for BHS. Pretty standard brawlers here. Otis, not necessarily my favorite on this map, as I do feel like it lacks a little bit of range and utility, in my opinion, but it works. We've seen it before. I'm a bigger fan of something like Lola personally, but RT here is going to be very new for me, and I'm really excited to see how that works out.
I don't know whether I share your excitement, Teddy. I mean, on a Bridge Too Far, I'm not too convinced. I mean, ultimately, there is the chance to have a bit more of additional movement speed when it comes to RT. It's definitely an interesting brawler to have as our first match in the EMEA region. We saw it once, I believe, already today in the APAC region, maybe even more than once, but it definitely was the first time that I saw RT being played out. But I just did not expect to see it on this kind of map. It doesn't really kind of cater towards those kind of, brawl ball ideas when you've got the coverage in such a way that you can really have a choke point, but maybe not be able to have something on the mid-range side of things to be able to then juggle his, it's kind of weird and confusing when you've got the terminology now for RT coming into the mix. We've never really had this brawler before. Having half of your body placed on that sort of mid to middle range tile and then be able to suppress that middle range, but so far so good. It's already, though, a good start. Healthy lead so far for BHS. 6% off the mark, and now Peep coming in as well. Laxi then TP's in, gets the takedown as well, and more damage raining down.
So far, the more standard ideas working out just a little bit better here, but it's only 3%, so fairly equal, all things considered. I'm kind of wondering if the RT might be played a little bit in the way of Bonnie would on this map, where you basically just jump onto the safe and deal massive amounts of damage, even though you get sacrificed pretty much. Obviously, you can't jump as an RT, but same idea of like getting to the safe and then popping that super, getting massive amounts of damage, and then getting taken out. Not sure what the approach is going to be so far. Nob is still going to be sitting on that super, and that makes sense considering there's just so much of a range gap between his super form and Black Sea on that Nani. So far, his ANR was just a little bit of a lead, but 6% can very quickly be turned around.
Like a rain from Rama. Picks a little bit onto Jetton. It's the mid-range where he picks up onto the Cyclone, which is really where it lands the mark. TP in from Black Sea does clear him up though swiftly, and more damage to rain down as the base race continues on. It does seem, though, like Nob's got a great deal more value for his time. 50% now left on Their opposition's safe, and ANR in a good controlling part of the mid. Maybe this is a bit low here on the left, and the people's considering to go for it. Comes back around now, and Black Sea is able to get more damage into the safe to try to bring back this deficit. Not the juking to perfection on the right-hand side. On the left, though, is Jetson who goes down, and that's going to bring ANR further towards their safe to be able to gain back more control over this game.
Yeah, that's a great super as well from Rama. So far, ANR with quite a massive lead, and with 15 seconds left, there's only going to be one more chance here for BHS to attempt to break through, get towards that blue safe, and close the gap. 5 seconds left. It's just not going to be happening as ANR.
Anyway, but ANR clearly quite confident in the long-range affair, and not to be fair, to his credit, didn't seem to go down very much at all. So let's see whether he can keep that up on that right-hand side, though. Maybe it's with a face shift there, just to try to win this dueling battle, the 1v1 between himself and Jet. And oh, it's going to be close to the second one as well, and he will get the actual trade for it. But nonetheless, that is 2 gadgets being utilized there. He's only got 1 left.
All right, now the start is looking quite fantastic for ANR. 32% in their favor very early on in this game. A beautiful gadget popped by Rama, claims a kill. Rama finds a second, and that's going to be the rocket rain to follow up onto the safe, which is already below 25%. And that is just a phenomenal way to kick off this game for ANR.
Big damage rolling in, isn't it? 10% left, and surely maybe it's with the damage gear as well. No chance for a takedowns for BHS, so definitely that was where the weak points were. They've got to be able to try to stay on their feet a little bit more. Bounty up next for Shooting Star could be very much that map and mode to do so. As the long range affair, the chance to try to stand on your feet and just get that final moment push that might be able to swing the game into your favor. Definitely, we've seen a meta forming and shifting when it comes to Shooting Star, telling the sort of favorable buff that we saw to Byron is bringing him a bit more into the mix. Seems like Foot really love to combine Byron with Leon and Jean here on this particular map. Max ban though, and Fang, I do like those bans from ANR, blocking out some very aggressive ideas early. Seeing the Nanny coming in first on their side of the field again, and I don't necessarily mind it. It's one that has a great deal of utility and can obviously apply a great deal of pressure, but it wouldn't necessarily be my first pick here, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of still like it, to be honest. It used to be, pretty much the emblematic first pick for Shooting Star because of the Piper, but Piper is banned here anyways by BHS, so I wouldn't say it's quite as necessary. And I think BHS so far a bit more in line with my ideas of the meta on this map. Never mind. I was going to talk about throwers and how important they are, that BHS banned 2 of them and pick one as their first pick, but now they go RT, so I'm not entirely sure what I know about the meta anymore, because it doesn't necessarily feel like a map where RT would be ridiculously good either. But again, I'm all down to see it. ANR made it work earlier on Bridge 2-4. I'm sure BHS could make it work here.
All coming in as well. I mean, it's just interesting to me that we've seen 2 sets. We're about to see the second set play out, but every set we've seen RT, but not on the bans yet. And I'm pretty certain that in APAC, we only saw it once all day. EMEA clearly really taking this particular brawler, regardless of, when it comes to your ability to have much of a super. And Sprout's an early draft as well from BHS is a very risky thing, because it's a great deal that can then come up from it, and the Carl is a great way to counteract that. So I really like the way that ANR are drafting this. The Flying Hook can just come in and just cause so much issues for the player to have to deal with. Eve will be the third and final pick there for BHS. Not a bad one. I just don't think it's necessarily a great one, and it just feels that so far ANR have just got a better handle when it comes to draft. Getting that Gene locked in as well is such a crucial thing to have. Having just everyone able to heal off the back of the magic puffs and be able to maneuver around the map at your will and just try to time those runs, try and provide support for the Carl, and getting a magic hand takedowns combined with it. There's a lot of synergy when it comes to what ANR brings to the table here.
Yeah, I agree. ANR going just a little bit more standard here, and I think dealing very well with how dominant Sprout can be on this map. The unbreakable walls make him one of the top picks here with Tick, in my opinion, but it is very vulnerable to Carl and to Gene, so I really like that idea of ANR to, instead of necessarily going with the meta, countering it instead. Let's find out how this actually is going to play out, as we will be seeing the Carl down in the mid and Rama playing lane, which honestly, I really don't mind at all. Sure, Gene is more traditionally going to be played out in mid, but on a map like this, it might just find better results on the lane because it's a bit more open and wide for you to really utilize those splitting shots.
That's good pressure so far on the right-hand side from Cyclone, just pushing his way forwards here. Laxi as well. Oh, that's a great magic hand there from Rama. Beautiful stuff. And the heals coming in, keeping Nob able to go on the aggressive there once he's able to heal back up on the back of it. 3-star lead now in that blue star, but position power is not with them. They do need to try to get a takedown. You have to push back upon the map, and BHS's credit, that's what they were able to do, is stay firm. But there's the flying hook that I was mentioning earlier, and the wall is not a great one. Maybe it's able to get the takedown there, and Blacksea falls to him.
Beautiful trade from Jennen to try to close the gap just a little bit. Save face for BHS, but it's still 2 stars in favor of ANR. Peep is going to be heading towards Cyclones, finds the connection, but not quite the kill just yet. Cyclone has yet to really make use of that super. Do have a Sprout wall to maybe combine with it, try to remove some of the angles and close the gap. A missed pull from Rama could be huge value-wise here for BHS to try to push up close. Rama is low HP. They have the blue star on the side of BHS. Mebius forced to super to create some space, and it pays off as ANR are back now with 4 stars in the lead.
And we see a turnaround here. There's time at the chest in there. Solo has to jump away. He can't really contest the situation now, but there's 7 stars, there's 6, but there's 9 there from Mavis. Will bring game, and they do desperately need that to start to gain back some momentum here as ANR are starting to run away with things. Nice flying hook there, straight away into the mid from Mavis, and great pressure onto Blacksea already. Big shots on the right from Rama, and despite the push coming from BHS, it really is just ANR utilizing that to their advantage and just trying to land as much utility early on as they can.
More aggression on the right side this time around from BHS, and it's going to pay off as well as Blacksea finds Rama, and was an early lead for ANR. Gets quickly turned around. For how long can it last though? Mebius is going to be locked into an awkward position, but the shots don't quite reach him just yet. Surely he will be going down, and gives the lead back to BHS. They are now 2 stars ahead. Let's see if ANR can turn this one around, as they are going to be a little bit behind for the time being.
Flying hook, oh, that's a much better wall there from Blacksea, able to survive himself just a little bit longer there. Still being pressured, but nonetheless, being pressured is better than losing stars, but that is going to be one shot from Mavis that he has to retreat from. The shield is playing a big vital role here. The hatchlings coming in from Jetten might cause a little bit. Nope, no problems at all, it seems from ANR. We'll stop the healing on the side of Rama, but it's Mavis that's continuing to tap. He's such a dangerous Carl player. At the moment, BHS are going to be struggling to hold this push off with 35 seconds on the clock as well. Going to have to do so. Oh, no, they're popping the return to sender, but not going to get any value for it. But still, this is a dangerous spot. BHS cannot drop their guard here.
Cyclone finding some nice connections onto Mebius, locking them up as well. Rama still sitting on his pool. They know on the side of ANR that one good kill could do it, but they need to find it as we head towards our final countdown now. Cyclone sacrifices himself. He can afford to do so, but Jennen can't, and Mebius is going to take him down. Mebius falls as well, and narrowly. BH.
Oh my word, very close, but that could well be the win that BHS need to gain things back into a bit more of a controlling position here. Big taps there from Blacksea to start things off, and surely not too far away from a wall already. Rather, they really just need to try to get that magic hand as quickly as he can, as it will be the one thing which they'll be able to have as a bit of a deterrent of this arty right-hand side lane, as Cyclone just trying to land some shots to get that additional damage to apply to the shots that will then follow on from it. But so far, just that singular star positioning power, though, is all with BHS rather at the moment.
Yeah, and Carl locking in the blue star every game is a massive advantage. Let's see if that's going to be enough, as Nob gets tagged up quite heavily, but return to sender combined with a couple nice shots, and it's going to be a takedown onto Cyclone on the right side, and ANR with a 3-star lead now. Mebius has a super as well, so the Sprout overextends. It could be scary. Jetten still very low, but is able to pull back. The pull from Rama will connect as well, and Black Sea is in a bit of an awkward position. So it's Nob, to be fair, but Nob gets to live on because Rama created enough space for him to heal back up. He was trapped in that right side. He does end up going down to a nice snipe from Jetta.
That was such a patient play there, but it really did pay off. Great synergy there on the side of BHS. The peep coming in, though, will not connect with anything more than just the indestructible wall. 7 stars, though, to 4. As Movie goes in with another flying hook and is cancelled out there. Beautiful wall again by Black Sea, just right on the money. But BHS are behind, still with 15 seconds of closing in. They do need to secure some takedowns here if they're going to be able to take this set.
10 seconds left. BHS going in. Final push now. Cyclone is low, so is Nob, to be fair, but Mebius should be able to easily dispatch of Black Sea, and it's even going to be,
combination of the entirety of BHS. So phenomenal stuff from him. But going into knockout, will this be the final set that we see in this series? I mean, at the moment, the way that ANR are playing it, I kind of feel like it might be. Hopefully for BHS, they're able to rekindle something here and start a potential reverse sweep, but they're going to have to waste no time to do so. Out in the open, of course, and knockout, you really do need to land this draft right. It can be very swift rounds if you don't, and honestly, the ban's reflecting some good awareness of the meta here, and they are already an RT ban as well from ANR, clearly already wanting to eradicate that. And this is where a map what I feel like, RT would be able to really hold a lot more power control. Body coming in there as well. Aside of ANR's, their very first early drop, the tick for BHS is not a bad one, but will definitely struggle in this later 1v1 matchups if they ever find themselves in that position.
Yeah, it's not a brawler I particularly love on this map, and Tick is in a very good place overall, especially with the thick head gear, but I still don't think it's gonna be that convincing on out in the open. We'll see how it plays out, but the Piper joining the ranks of ANR now as well, and I really like that. If you play it with ambush, you have a beautiful bush that is just perfect for Piper there to shine, and you don't even have to go for that star power either. It's still going to be very viable to go for the reload one instead. And Bonnie as well is something I do like here quite a bit. It's a little bit dangerous to leave it open, to leave the B open when you have a Bonnie on your side, because the B is gonna quite easily connect those shots, and those charged shots are quite a dangerous thing for a tanky Bonnie. So I'm not entirely sure about that aspect of the draft. And the Gene as well here. It has been a staple of out in the open for pretty much forever. Same for Brock. So I don't mind what I'm seeing on either side. For me, the Bonnie is a little bit more of a question mark, as well as the Tick on the side of BHS. But I feel like both teams have two brawlers that I really like here, and two brawlers that I like just a little bit less, maybe.
Well, I was waiting for it in the Brock, and I'm glad to have seen it. It can really make a big difference to be able to open things up and allow your team a bit of a faster reach into the middle area where the action is going to be obviously happening. But it's worth bearing in mind that Eve ban, very important from ANR. They just seem to have a better handle when it comes to the draft today for me. I'm loving what I'm seeing on that left-hand side, but the bans as well really do match up. And there's that immensely powerful breakthrough already from Rama. The rocket fuel straight into the mix. Second one as well to be able to tear off that bush, to be able to then see the pass-through of Cyclone and Black Sea. That's exactly what you want to do. And I'm surprised, to be honest, that Brock pick was left until the very end, because you can just see straight away Rama just getting to work.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like it's a very impactful brawler to have on your side, and I'm surprised as well that it was the last pick here, but it is in the hands of ANR. Rama playing very passive with it as well. They don't want to feed the Tick too much, so they need to be careful. Gadget pop just in the nick of time there by Cyclone to tank that shot from Nob. That would have been a deadly one as well. So beautifully done. Rama opens up the left side, tries to find a bit of an opening for his team, as Mebius does have his jump in now, and if he uses it, it better be a well-timed one, as he can find a lot of value with that.
Nob is getting very close to landing some kills with this. Maybe she jumps in. Oh, it gets the triple. Oh my word, Rama will pick up the scraps. What an explosive end to that round, my word. But great plays. Maybe it's just so dangerous. And I feel like this is a player that had a great run last year. Him in just a little bit late to the season almost in that respect. But this year, I mean, he's absolutely popping off.
Yeah, I love the energy he brings out and those aggressive brawlers. Snob is forced to jump back quite early on. Cyclone sitting on that supercharged shot could be dangerous for Mebius, and he does get pulled. That is going to be a free kill for BHS. Rama taking the jump pad to try to maybe seize an opportunity, but really much to be seen there. As ANR will be losing another player. Not just trying not to feed that gene pool. Doesn't care as much about the B super. They're playing very patiently, and Blacksea will get the connection, will get his pool unlocked now as well. And we saw in this round how impactful that can be. So BHS here with 2 supers carried over in a pretty decent situation.
This is where BHS do need to take this slow and steady. They can turn things around, especially now that Rama is incredibly low on that left-hand side. Can't really contest it too further forwards as Nob is there waiting for the tap, and Cyclone will go down. Blacksea with the ball as well, though, to be able to counteract things, but maybe it's so tanky. But oh my word, the take head, we'll see to that. The pickup is there. Oh, but as quickly as that, the turnaround as Nova Rama get the pinch off Blacksea, 2000 HP, and surely will go down here. Yeah, the shots have got to land.
Taking home, Bounty was incredibly close as well at times, and those very, very close encounters that ended up all going the way of ANR, at least the impactful ones. Those are binding back now for BHS as it is match point for ANR, and Nob off the bat here with a quick 2-tap onto Cyclone. Gonna be giving the lead early on to ANR again.
What a tap there from Nob, and Jetson is just going to struggle to do much here, trying not to feed, trying to find the gas, but he eventually does hand it over to Mavis, and now just this one singular round left, and ANR might be able to take themselves into this semi-finals.
Again, off the bat, Nob was a great connection, nearly finds the follow-up onto Blacksea as well. Homemade recipe coming in, but not going to find a connection. As Mebius was a little bit aggressive on the right-hand side, will get punished for that. BHS forced to fall back just a little bit because the HP count wasn't too great across the board. So far able to play it still safe, and Rama finds yet another great connection there, and a pickup for ANR. With the round advantage and the 3 versus 2, ANR looking really, really good here.
Yeah, Roma there with the thumbs down, and Nob's sharing a little tear for BHS. This could well lead to their demise as the gas closes in now as well. Amplified shot to Cyclone is somewhat of a saving grace, but he does collect the slow, but the jump surely there inbound as Roma gets to take down to Jetson. One more jump in from Mavis will surely seal it there, and ANR